Oh my goodness, this video is so long overdue. So, I know we've all been Netflix and chilling, and let me tell you, I've been watching some movies that just really leave an impact on me, and I have to talk about it. Like, I have to get it off my chest. I've been wanting to make this video for the longest. The only thing is, I don't know, I was waiting for the perfect time, or making sure I had all my notes together. I don't know. But finally, I am here to make a video about the Netflix movie / series, The Assassination of Gianni Versace. This movie was so freaking spectacular. Like, oh my god. There's so many things to say about this movie. Starting with Gianni Versace. What an amazing designer. What an amazing man. Let's just give a moment of silence for such a passionate, free, humble, kind soul that left this earth way too early than he should have. His fashion, and it's so amazing how you can tell who he was just by looking at his clothes, his fashion. Like, he's definitely someone that I would have been friends with, especially, you know, if you're fashionable and you like nice fabrics and colors and you like the finer things in life. You can definitely tell he was that type of person. And that's the type of people I easily make friends with. And this whole story was just so, there's just so many things to say about it. So, where do I start? So, let's start with, the whole story. So, everybody knows well, not everybody, but most people know of how Gianni Versace was murdered in front of his home in South Beach, Miami. Beautiful place, of course. I mean, I freaking want to live there. I'm obsessed with Miami, of course. So that's another reason why I love this movie, and it spoke to me. I mean, I love fashion. I love Miami. Never been to the place, but know I'm going to live there one day. Anyways. He was murdered in front of his doorstep by this man named Andrew Cunanan. Now, this man, Andrew, I mean, we all want to paint him out to be the bad guy. But throughout the movie, it was hard not to sympathize with him at times because he was mainly the main character. And it was so sad to see what he was going through. It's not the fact that, you know, it's sad to see a young kid going through hardships. I mean, we've all had our difficulties in life. But what was sad was the way that he went about it, you know. His thirst for power and how he went about it in the wrong direction. Trying to basically like suck powers from others instead of building himself up, which is basically the epitome of all bad things, you know? That's basically the epitome of all murders, is people hungry. Yeah, it was hard not to empathize with Andrew Cunanan, and his thirst for power. And I have to say, the reason why, you can clearly see that Andrew Cunanan, his psychopathy stemmed from his father, who was from the Philippines. His father was from the Philippines. came to America, married a waitress, an Italian waitress in California, and I mean, the rest was just toxic AF from there. So, coming from a country, so I can understand, like coming from a country like the Philippines to America, trying to work your way up to live the American dream. I mean, it's not easy, There's so many different traps you can fall in. And money hungry, greed, power, everything, all the struggles that people go through to live the American dream, support the family and everything. But, there's a certain way, there's a certain path you have to take that's meant for, every specific person, Like, he got into stocks, and clearly he didn't know what he was doing, He was just starting from scratch. So, yeah, this man, Andrew Cunanan's father, came from the Philippines to America, got into stock business, committed a whole bunch of fraud with the stocks, which is not uncommon in America. I mean, people do that, and people get away with it if you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, you can get away with it, okay? He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't get away with it. So he up and left the family, and I was like, bye, I'm not getting arrested. I messed up, deuces. So that was the sad part. I feel like that was Andrew Cunanan's first big heartbreak, was his father, who prioritized him as like this golden child out of all the kids in the family, bought him a car even though the other kids were older, put him in the nice room, sent him to like a prestigious school and everything. And so he put the image, he like beat this image into Andrew Cunanan's head that he is special, he is number one, he is superior than others, that nobody can touch him. And then he just leaves out of his life, just like leaves. So that starts his trauma right there, So once he left, Andrew Cunanan goes to the Philippines. Andrew and his mom is like SOL, they don't have any money. He didn't leave any money for them. So Andrew's like, no, like my father, he left me money, of course. My father, he loves me, my father backs me up with everything. My father tells me I'm special. Like, of course, my father has my back. So he goes and finds his dad in the Philippines, and his dad is like, yeah, I don't have any money for you. Good luck, basically. And so Andrew's dad was honest with him that he lied, cheated, and stealed to get him the lifestyle that he told him that he deserved. So that right there just opened up a can of worms, From that point on, Andrew Cunanan was taught that it's okay to lie, cheat, and steal, and that people will forgive you for it because his dad showed him that that was okay. His dad was the first one to lie to him over and over and over. His dad lied to him about his whole existence. He had no foundation. He had no solid foundation to grow upon as a little boy. And his dad just basically fed him a bunch of lies, and his whole lifestyle was a lie. And Andrew's like, okay, as like a kid, if you put yourself in his position, you'll just be like, okay, my dad did what he had to do to get what he wanted, to provide for his family, or to get whatever he wanted, to live the American dream, to be successful. So that just created a monster. So his father basically created a freaking monster, probably without knowing it. He had good intentions. It's not his father's fault. His father was just trying to do the best he could because that's all he knew. So I'm not saying that every person that does that to their child and dips will become a freaking psycho sociopath murderer. No. But this is how they are made. That's where it starts. Childhood, your upbringing, that's where it starts. So, what really like made me interested about this was there's a fine line between having empathy and not having empathy. Like I was raised, I was my father raised me, telling me I was the princess of the world, that I deserve this and that I can get whatever I want, and that I was perfect. I was raised like that. But, there did come a time where I realized, okay, I'm not that special, like, I don't have all that money to be blowing out there like Mary-Kate and Ashley and living in the Hiltons and the Hamptons like freaking Kylie Jenner. I'm like, okay, this is reality. I'm like, okay, that's what, kids are taught, that they're special when they're raised to have confidence. But, you have to be okay with realizing that that is not the reality when you get to a certain age in your 20s. And not everybody can deal with that. And they either live a life of delusion, hurt themselves, drink themselves to death, smoke themselves to death. I mean, you have to realize, you can't have it all. Like that's the real world that we live in. But, Andrew Cunanan is crazy because his confidence, which came from, it was all fake. It was all fake, grandiose. I mean, he got far, he had sponsors and boyfriends who hooked him up with the lifestyle, but he kept wanting more. And, he would do anything to get that, anything to get what he wanted. And that is what makes him a psycho, because that is scary when you kill people like nothing, like just, oh, I'm going for a swim, and then just forget about it, and then just live your life like nothing ever happened. And it's so bizarre because he would have never gotten away with the first murder. He would have been caught because of, in this day and age, we have technology, GPS tracks you wherever you go. Back then in the 90s, they didn't have all that. So they went on a manhunt for a while until they found him out, until he decided to kill amazing Gianni Versace. Man, why him? Jeez. And I'm upset that somebody that rich and powerful doesn't always have a bodyguard with them. I was like, why didn't he have a bodyguard with them? He is too great of a person to be walking the streets alone. Gianni Versace, he just woke up to go down to the coffee shop to get a magazine. Comes back, Andrew Cunanan, this psycho, shoots him like nothing. All that hard work he put into his life. He came from the bottom to the top, and then it was gone, just like that. I'm like, dang, jealousy, hate, and envy is real. Just like that lady shot Selena. Just like that. That gorgeous, that old, jealous woman shot this young, beautiful, talented girl. And her life was gone, just like that. That's why self-love is real. Self-love is like life or death at this point. Because, the lack of self-love is just pure destruction. And sure, you can love yourself and be caught off guard by some freaking psycho, wrong place at the wrong time. But yeah, this movie just really opened my eyes about, you know, really trusting your intuition, your gut instinct. You know, the two men that Andrew were dating, the two gay guys that Andrew were dating, if only they would have listened to their intuition, they would have still been alive, you know? But they didn't. There were so many red flags in the movie where Andrew showed that he was a psycho. And the thing is, he never hid it. He didn't even hide it. It was there in plain sight. And people, and they still were like kind to him and just overlooked it. That's why awareness is such an important thing. Self-love and awareness, mindfulness, that can save your life if you happen to come across a psycho like Andrew Cunanan. So, yeah, that's definitely true. And another thing about this movie, what's another thing? His confidence was just out of this world. It's like his confidence was just everything. And what's even more sad about this whole situation is that, and those of you who don't know, this is a real life story. Gianni Versace was murdered by this man named Andrew Cunanan, who basically was obsessed with him his whole life. Gianni Versace had everything that Andrew wished he had. He was who Andrew wished he was. Down to the success, down to the passion that he had, like a true passion that basically led to his success and infiltrated his life with greatness. His passion was what he lived for. His passion led him to the people that he loved in his life. His passion for fashion and clothes and, you know, the whole business, putting on models, the everything, you know, it created an aura around Gianni Versace's whole being, his whole company, his whole legacy. And that came with a lot of power that Andrew Cunanan wish he could touch, wish he had even just a little bit of. So he can't even come close to who Gianni Versace was. This man had integrity. This man had a zest for life. And you can tell he did. This man had a character. He knew what he wanted, what he didn't, what he liked and what he didn't. And he just wasn't out there just doing anything and everything with everybody. And what's even more sad is you can see that Andrew Cunanan's victims, he murdered kind-hearted people who he wished he could be like. Oh my God, the poor guy, the poor blonde guy, he was such a sweet man. Like, he was so sweet and so nice. And that's why it's important, you know, if you're a good-hearted person, to protect yourself from people like the vultures out there, like Andrew Cunanan, who wear a mask to cover up all of their nasty behaviors, insecurities, nasty jealousies, and stuff like that. But it was so sad because you could see all of his victims they were successful in their own right, whether it was what they stood for or in the power that they yielded in life. Like the old man with the wife. Oh my gosh. The older guy who Andrew Cunanan murdered, him and his wife had such a great relationship in the movie. Since it's a true story, I assume that it is like that in real life. I didn't do my research. I didn't go look up these people and find out, oh, were they really like that? You know, throughout the movie, it'll tell you it's a true story, exaggerated for TV. But you can tell, like, they had such an enormous amount of respect for each other within that marriage. Like, sure, yeah, they were more business partners than lovers, but they respected each other so much. Like, they were each other's backbone. He helped her, she helped him, and they were there for each other for years. And yeah, that went down the drain when he met Andrew Cunanan. And it was sad because the man was such a sweet man. Like, in the movie, they portrayed him as such a sweet guy who just wanted somebody to listen to him and really be there. But then he met that sick man. You know what makes me mad is that there are people out there, you know, who just want someone to listen to them and to be there. And those good, kind-hearted people run into the wrong person who do more than take advantage of them. They freaking murder them. They murder them. That's ruthless. That's like beyond savage. That's inhumane. Like, I would never, like, it is not in my character to want to kill anyone. I couldn't even fathom how somebody can do that. That's why this movie is so bizarre to me, because he had no empathy whatsoever, but he could fake it. He could fake it. In every relationship, he had like a hidden motive. And it's just so crazy to me because I could never be like that. Like, sure, we all have moments of insecureness, but I mean, what are we gonna do about it? We're not gonna go out. We're not gonna go out and murder people who we're jealous of. What the heck? That's what makes him a freaking sociopath. No, we're gonna exercise. We're gonna study how we can become the best versions of ourselves. Study how we can become the best versions of ourselves. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get better. We're not gonna get bitter and take the lives of people who have built their whole life for success. Man, can't believe that. It makes me so upset because I hope people out there, who are just looking for these people who he murdered, besides Gianni Versace, these people who he murdered were just looking for a friend. Like those two gay guys, they just wanted a friend and they were there for him. And he stabbed them in the back. He freaking murdered them, slit their throats. So bad. You know, it just psychs me out because, you know, opposites attract. That's what they say, huh? Opposites attract. Negative attracts a positive. A positive person attracts a negative person. This movie shows that to be true. But is it really true? I've questioned this for a long time. Because people say two different cliche things. They say, oh, like minds think alike. Like minds attract. And then they say, oh, opposites attract. But when you look at unfortunate murders it seems like opposites attract, because, you know, those kind-hearted people who are just out there looking for a friend, they don't run into people like me, unfortunately. Why? I don't know. They run into freaking crazy people who want them dead. That's so crazy. Man, like, what? I just can't believe the world that we live in. No, I can believe the world that we live in. It's just that this movie is a representation of so many different dynamics that play out in our day-to-day lives. Not within our lives, because I don't know anybody who's getting murdered, but I mean in our reality, that play out in our reality over and over and over again. And it'll never stop. There's always going to be situations like this, unfortunately. I just want to make the world a better place, you know? With self-love, empathy, and mindfulness, I think there can be less sociopaths in the world, less psychopaths in the world. But then again, some things are beyond our control. There will always be people out there purely promoting destruction everywhere they go. Even if it's with a smile, even if it's wrapped up in a bundle of lies. And I am so thankful. I listen to my intuition at all times, and she's never steered me wrong. If I get, you know, the littlest vibe that something's off, I'm gone. I'm out. So, yeah, this movie was so good. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but I really like this movie. And can we get a silence for the actors in this movie? The man who played Andrew Cunanan, so talented. Penelope Cruz, that walk she did, playing Donatella. That walk. A moment of silence for that walk that Penelope Cruz did. She snatched my hair off. Oh my goodness. That walk was amazing. It was amazing. And the guy who played Gianni Versace, oh my God, they look just alike. The acting in this movie was on 100, 110. It was so good. And shout out to that song. After he murdered somebody and he was on a road trip, there was that song. It was like, Gloria. I forgot the way it goes. It was like, why is anybody calling? Baby, you don't have to answer.